Welcome to the module on forest fire hazard and safety. By the end of this module, you will be able to identify the types of forests in India, understand the impact of fire on forests, define forest fire and explain its causes, identify the types of forest fires, list the guidelines for preventing a forest fire, list the safety precautions to follow before, during, and after a forest fire, explain forest fire control strategies and explain the role of volunteers during forest fire situations. Since ancient times, forests have played an important role in social, economic and religious activities and have enriched human life in many ways. The total forest cover in our country is 7,12,249 square kilometers, which is 21.67% of the geographical area of the country. The tree cover is 2.89% of the geographical area of the country. Forests in India are classified into reserved or government-owned forests and private forests. Click each hotspot to know more. Reserved or government-owned forest is an area notified under the provisions of the Indian Forest Act or the State Forest Act having a full degree of protection. In reserved forests, all activities are prohibited unless permitted. Private forests are land parcels having vegetative growth, which qualifies as a forest as per dictionary meaning but currently are not owned by municipal authorities. It is basically a forest which is planted, nurtured or conserved in a private land. Forest fire, also called wildfire or vegetation fire, is any uncontrolled burning of plants in a natural setting such as a forest or grassland that spreads based on environmental conditions. Forest fires in India are mostly initiated by human actions such as land clearing for agriculture or collection of forest products like seeds, or for initiating a fresh flash of grass or negligent disposal of cigarette butts or careless use of fire and extreme drought, and is rarely initiated by natural causes, example, lightning. There are three conditions that need to be present for a forest fire to burn: fuel, oxygen, and a heat source. Fuel is any flammable material surrounding a fire, including trees, grasses, bushes and even homes. The greater an area's fuel capacity load on the forest floor, the more intense the fire will be. Out of three essential components of fire triangle, two components, that is, fuel and oxygen, are naturally available in forest. It is the third component, that is, heat, that really starts fire in the forest. Heat may be supplied by either natural or artificial reasons. Burning campfires, cigarettes or glass pieces scattered over the dry leaves, lightning, hot winds and even the sun can provide sufficient heat to spark a forest fire. Most of the fires are initiated by people. The list of human motives for the same includes land clearing and other agricultural activities, maintenance of grasslands for livestock management, extraction of non-wood forest products, industrial development, resettlement, hunting, negligence and arson. Forest fire plays a mixed role in ecology and economy since some ecosystems depend on natural fires to maintain their dynamics, biodiversity and productivity. However, every year, forest fire destroys millions of hectares of forest woodland and other vegetation, causing the loss of human and animal lives and immense economic damage. Let's next understand the causes of forest fires. Depending upon the source of the heat, the causes for forest fire may be classified as natural or man-made. Click on each cause to know more. Many forest fires start from natural causes such as lightning, which set trees on fire. However, rain extinguishes such fires without causing much damage. High atmospheric temperatures and dryness or low humidity offer favorable circumstances for a fire to start. Environmental causes are largely related to climatic conditions such as temperature, wind speed and direction, level of moisture in soil and atmosphere, and duration of dry spells. Fire is caused when a source of fire like cigarette or bidi, electric spark or any source of ignition comes into contact with inflammable material. Human-related causes result from human activity as well as methods of forest management. Human-related causes can be intentional or unintentional. Some such causes are the centuries-old practice of shifting cultivation, fires started accidentally by careless visitors to forests who discard cigarette butts, the use of fires by villagers in agricultural fields and to ward off wild animals, and fires lit intentionally by people living around forests for recreation. The causes of forest fires have multiplied due to growing human and cattle populations. People enter forests ever more frequently to graze cattle, collect fuelwood, timber, and other minor forest produce. It has been estimated that around 90% of forest fires in India are man-made. Let's next understand about the loss and damage from forest fire. Fire is a forest management tool and has been a major influencing factor on the development and management of many of the world's forests. Each year, millions of hectares of the world's forests are consumed by fire, resulting in enormous economic losses. These losses are because of burnt timber, land degradation, high fire suppression costs, damage to the environment, loss of dwelling units, property infrastructure and loss of life. Generally, forest ecosystems evolved in response to frequent natural fires, while many others have suffered damage from the effects of forest fires. Let us next learn about the different types of forest fires. Forest fires are not always the same. They may differ depending on their nature, size, spreading speed, and behavior among others. Depending on their nature and size, forest fires are subdivided into 4 types. These include surface fires, underground fires, ground fires, and crown fires. Drag the pointer to each type to know more. Surface fire is the most common forest fire that burns undergrowth and dead material along the floor of the forest. It is the type of fire that burns surface litter, other loose debris of the forest floor and small vegetation. In general, it is detrimental for the forest growth and regeneration. But if grown, this fire not only burns ground flora but also engulfs the undergrowth and can be destructive. These are the low-intensity fires that consume the organic matter below the surface litter of forest floor. There is no clear distinction between underground and ground fires. The smoldering underground fire sometimes changes into ground fire. These fires are often hard to detect and are the least spectacular and slowest moving. Fighting such fire is very difficult. Crown fire is the most unpredictable fire that burns the top of trees and spreads rapidly by wind. In most cases, these fires are invariably ignited by surface fires. This is one of the most spectacular kinds of forest fires. It usually advances from top to down of trees or shrubs, interdependent on surface fires. In dense coniferous forests, a crown fire may raise ahead of the supporting surface fire with the help of a brisk wind. Since it is over the heads of ground force, it is uncontrollable until it drops to the ground. And since it is usually fast-moving, it poses grave danger to the firefighters, who become trapped and suffer burn injuries. Let's now discuss how to prevent a forest fire. In order to prevent a forest fire, follow these guidelines. Contact the local fire department if you notice an unattended or out-of-control fire. Never leave a campfire unattended. Before sleeping or leaving the campsite, extinguish the fire completely by dousing it with water and stirring the ashes until cold. When camping, take care while using and fueling lanterns, stoves and heaters. Make sure that the lighting and heating devices are cold before refueling, avoid spilling flammable liquids and store fuel away from appliances. Do not discard cigarettes, matches and smoking materials from moving vehicles or anywhere on parked grounds. Be certain to completely extinguish cigarettes before disposing of them. Follow local instructions when burning yard waste. Avoid burning backyard waste in windy conditions. Keep a shovel, water and fire retardant nearby to keep fires in check. Remove all flammables from yard when burning waste. Let's now discuss what you can do to protect yourself, your family and your property in the event of a forest fire. The actions that need to be taken in the event of a forest fire have been divided into 3 scenarios for ease of understanding. These are actions before a forest fire, actions during a forest fire, and actions after a forest fire. Click each scenario to know more. Follow these guidelines before a forest fire starts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Design and landscape your home with forest fire safety in mind. Choose materials and plants that can resist fire instead of fueling it. For example, use fire-resistant or non-combustible materials on your roof and the exterior structure of your house. Alternatively, treat wood and combustible materials with fire-retardant chemicals evaluated by a nationally recognized laboratory. Plant fire-resistant shrubs and trees. For example, hardwood trees are less flammable than pine, eucalyptus or fir trees. Regularly clean the roof and gutters. Inspect chimneys at least twice a year. Clean them at least once a year. Keep the dampers in good working order. Equip chimneys and stovepipes with a spark arrestor. Install spark arresters as per local fire department recommendations. Install 1/8-inch mesh screens under porches, decks, and the house itself with screen openings to the roof and attic. Install dual sensor smoke alarms at each home level, particularly near bedrooms. Test them monthly and change batteries annually. Educate each family member on the use of ABC-type fire extinguishers and show them where they are kept. Keep handy household items that can be used as tools during a fire, such as a rake, axe, handsaw or chainsaw, bucket and shovel. Keep a ladder that will reach the roof. Consider installing protective shutters or heavy fire-resistant drapes. Plan your water needs by identifying and maintaining an adequate outside water source, such as a small pond, cistern, well, swimming pool or hydrant. Use a garden hose that is long enough to reach any area of the house and other structures on the property. Install freeze-proof exterior water outlets on at least two sides of the house and near other structures on the property. Also install additional outlets at least 50 feet from the house and consider obtaining a portable gasoline-powered pump in case electrical power is cut off. Follow these guidelines during a forest fire. If you spot a forest fire without evacuation orders, call the helpline. Provide precise location details and cooperate with the dispatcher's questions. Arrange temporary housing outside the danger zone. Wear protective clothing like sturdy shoes, long pants, long-sleeved shirt, gloves, and a face covering. Evacuate immediately if advised, taking your disaster supply kit and securing your house. Know your evacuation route ahead of time. Stay alert to changes in fire and smoke movement and inform someone of your departure and destination. Gather fire tools like rake, axe, handsaw, bucket and shovel. Close attic, eaves, basement vents, windows, doors and remove flammable materials. Turn off gas, propane or fuel all supplies at the source. Connect garden hose to outdoor water faucet and fill any pools, hot tubs, garbage cans, tubs or other large containers with water. Use lawn sprinklers on the roof and near fuel tanks. If you have gas-powered pumps for water, make sure that they are fueled and ready. Place a ladder against the house in clear view. Disconnect any automatic garage door openers so that doors can still be opened by hand if the power fails. Close all garage doors. Keep essential documents, valuables and pets ready in the car in the garage. Move flammable furniture to the center of the residence away from the windows and sliding glass doors. Turn on outside lights and leave a light on in every room to make the house more visible in heavy smoke. Before leaving, make your home safer by taking these precautions. Remove combustibles like firewood, yard waste, barbecue grills and fuel cans from your yard. Close all windows, vents and doors to prevent a draft. Shut off natural gas, propane, or fuel all supplies and fill any large vessels like pools, hot tubs, garbage cans or tubs with water to slow down or discourage a fire. Follow these steps if you are caught in a forest fire. Don't try to escape by running away from a fast-moving forest fire. Instead, look for a body of water, such as a pond or river to crouch in. If there is no water nearby, find a depressed, cleared area with little vegetation. Lie low to the ground and cover your body with wet clothing, a blanket or soil. Stay low and covered until the fire passes. Protect your lungs by breathing air closest to the ground, through a moist cloth, if possible, to avoid inhaling smoke. Follow these guidelines after a forest fire. Go to a designated public shelter if you have been told to evacuate or if you feel it is unsafe to remain in your house. Seek immediate assistance for burn victims and protect burns to prevent further harm or infection. After the fire threat has passed, inspect and extinguish roof fires, sparks and embers, and check the attic for hidden sparks. Keep an eye on the area for several hours after the fire to check for smoke and sparks regularly. Do not re-enter your home until authorized by the fire officials, respect color-coded signs from building inspectors and seek further guidance on safely entering your house. If your house is deemed unsafe, assign a trusted person to watch over your property during your absence. Exercise caution in burnt areas, as hazards like hot spots may still exist. Evacuate immediately if you detect heat or smoke when entering a damaged building. Avoid opening safes or strong boxes to prevent contents from igniting. Be cautious around damaged power lines and ash pits. Forest fires are dangerous and can cause extensive damage. There are some strategies that help us stop forest fires from spreading and keep people and nature safe. Now, let's learn about these strategies. The forest fire control strategies are categorized into control line, burning out, backburn, flanking, hot spotting, knockdown, cold trailing, aerial attack, fire line explosives, and mop-up. Click each control strategy to know more. One of the most important components of controlling a forest fire is using control lines to manage the direction and spread of the fire. These control lines are the boundaries, which are either natural or man-made. A rocky ridge or river can serve as a natural control line. Also, firefighters can establish a man-made control line by clearing out an extended line of brush. There are different kinds of control lines, which include fire line, where the barrier is scraped down to mineral soil, a scratch line in which a preliminary line is built in a hurry, and a wet line in which flame retardant or water is applied. Fires can sometimes jump the barrier. This means even a 100% contained fire can start up again. To enhance control lines, firefighters often need more than just digging and plant removal. Small torches are employed to burn brush near the control line for added stability and fire prevention. A burnout is among various methods employed to strengthen control lines and keep the fire within its designated boundaries. Backburns are like burnouts but demand a more advanced approach. Firefighters create a controlled fire downwind of the main fire within a control line. They then guide the new blaze back towards the main fire, consuming the fuel in between. For a forest fire small enough to be snuffed out using a direct attack, firefighters may begin their assault on the blaze from behind. Firefighters usually encircle the fire, moving around its perimeter to extinguish the flames. They spray the flames as they progress around the entire edge of the forest fire. Hot spotting involves focusing on the most active and dangerous sections of a forest fire. Firefighting teams assess these areas to develop effective strategies for containment. It may also require redirecting resources to tackle embers and spot fires originating from the hottest part of the fire. Knocking down involves immediate action, in contrast to hot spotting, where the condition of the fire is assessed. Knockdown strategy is used when firefighters determine that a hot spot must be suppressed urgently. Firefighters directly apply dirt, water or retardant to reduce an excessively hot, active or large fire section. During a firefight, Some firefighters engage in cold trailing. Cold trailing involves searching scorched ground behind a forest fire's path. Its purpose is to ensure no hot embers or coals are left behind to reignite. If significant exposed water sources are nearby, planes and helicopters can scoop up buckets of water and carry them to be dropped atop the blaze. The water is often mixed with a foam fire retardant before being dropped. Foamed water acts as a more effective barrier to the spread of fire and also insulates the fuel that has not yet burned. Firefighters may utilize explosives for control lines and fire lines, breaking up the dense brush and fallen trees. Explosives can also be employed to bring down trees that could aid in a fire crossing a control line. In large or fast-moving fires, explosives are used for efficiency, saving valuable time in fire containment. Mop-up is the term used for the post-control line cleanup by firefighters. It includes extinguishing embers and spot fires that breach the line. Additionally, it safeguards vulnerable fuels through burnouts or relocation. Next, let's look at the role of volunteers in dealing with the hazard of a forest fire. Volunteers can help maintain order in the community during evacuation. They can help in creating fire lanes. They can help the rescue team in loading resources. They can help the rescue team in movement of victims by manual support or on stretcher. They can help the community in transportation of essential household items. With this, we have come to the end of this module. Let's recollect the key points discussed. We learned that forests have been vital for social, economic and religious purposes throughout history. India's total forest cover is 21.67% of its geographical area, with a tree cover of 2.89%. Forest fires have a significant impact on forest development and management. Fire ecosystems vary and some are adapted to frequent natural fires. Forest fires cause immense economic losses, environmental damage, and loss of life globally. Forest areas in India are classified as reserved, protected or unclassified. Human activities and population growth have led to an increase in forest fires. Forest fires pose a threat to biodiversity, ecology, and the environment. Natural and man-made factors are the main causes of forest fires. Effective prevention, awareness, and control strategies are essential to combat forest fires. Now, it is time to check your understanding of the topic. This is an evaluation exercise. All questions are equally weighted. You need to score at least 60% to pass the test. Read the questions carefully and select the appropriate options. Congratulations!